first thing I want to say to y'all is sorry about the delay. I know I've been gone, but we are back now. So if you are new to this video, make sure that you subscribe. But here we are, we're going to get into these nails. Okay, so here we are with the diamond cuticle bit that I actually sell on my site along with the e-file as well. I am just etching the nail just to remove the shine to get a better stick for your nail. The better you etch the nail, the better your nail tip will stick. You won't have to use too much glue. And you just want to be careful. I mean, these things are sharp when you're initially using them, but once you get the hang of it, it shouldn't be that hard. But other than that, I'm just going around, just making sure that everything is not touching the cuticle, away from the cuticle. So when I cut the cuticle, there should be no acrylic that get attached, nothing that's going to cause lifting, anything like that. And this is the prep to no lifting, you know, the prep to longer lasting nails, etc., stuff like that. Okay, so now I'm going to go in with the cuticle nippers. And when you're going in with the cuticle nippers, you do not want to cut too much. You only cut what you see is lifted up. If you cut too much, they will bleed. Almost to death, probably. Not seriously, but I mean, sometimes if you cut somebody's cuticle, it bleeds so much because it's a living skin. You want to just cut off the dead skin. And this is just to make your acrylic application look smoother by your cuticle, more flush by your cuticle, and not so fat. So just with following the proper steps, you can achieve better looks and you don't even know. Please don't ask me about these nail tips or ask me why the whole nail tip case is full. But these are nails that I was like, my vendor sent me to sample them to see if I want to add them to my site. So this was really like maybe my second or third time using these to see if I like them, period. But I think I like the outcome of the nail. So yeah, but here I'm just I had cut some of the weld off on the back of the nail tip because I just felt like it was covering almost most of the nail. And as you can see, my client doesn't have like super long nail beds or anything like that. So I'm just placing my drop of glue and just sticking the nail tip on. But you don't need that much glue, especially not with the kind of glue that you use. This is KDS nail glue. You can find it on Amazon, probably one of your nail supply stores, nail warehouse, maybe Sally's, maybe, I'm not sure. But yeah, that glue is so strong, you really don't need a drop of it. But the only thing I can say about these nail tips is the thumb fingers. Like, they're supposed to be the biggest nails. I feel like they're literally like a middle finger. But this is just how I apply my nail tips to get a better stick. You don't want a nail glue all running down your finger, getting stuck to you and your client. That's what you don't want. So just take your one drop of glue, place your nail tip, and tell y'all how to like cut them, because I mean at this point everybody should know how to cut a nail. But this just makes sure everything is the same length, same size them up. So now that when we file, we just have an even file. We don't have to go back and do anything. But I'm just going to take my 80/80 grit file. I actually sell these on my website as well, but they are watermarked with my name on them, of course. But just shaping. And this 80/80 grit file, I really believe that the harder course of the file, the better the shape that you get. And you just want to really watch out how you shape, because you don't want to over shape. You don't want to file too much of the sides. And I blend the tip with a nail file because I just feel when I file it with an e-file, I have to go back in and file it with a nail file anyway. So you want to work smarter, not harder. So you want to, make up time or improvise your time. So instead of using an e-file and a nail file, just go use your nail file all at once, get it done with. So you just want to make sure that your shape is, going how you want it to go. If it's not, take your time and shape. It's never a bad thing to take too long shaping. Maybe too long shaping is an issue, but not too long shaping, because that's your work, that's your name. You want it to look how you want it to look. And when you're shaping, you just go from side to side. You don't file too much at one time. You file side. So you won't have to end up taking a nail off or try to overly fix a nail that probably ain't going to make a comeback and it's going to throw the whole set off. One little mistake in a nail set can make the whole nail look completely different. The whole nail set will look completely different. Now that the prep and shaping is done, I'm going to take my no-lift acid-based nail primer, and I'm going to, prime all 10 of my fingers. And I do 2 different coats of primer, but in the beginning I do one, and I get all my acrylic ready, like take out whatever colors I'm using, get my liquid ready, clean my brush or whatever, just so that primer could set in. And as I'm going back again to start applying acrylic, I put another layer of primer. And I'm going to try to talk more so while I'm laying acrylic, so I can kind of explain why I do what I do. But this is going to be like a marble nail, and I marble it like with all the colors, and I go back in with the most dominant, because some of the colors when you're marbling, they like fade out and you can't even really tell that you use that color, but you want to make sure you can see every color that you use. So you just kind of marble it down how you want it to go down from the beginning. If this was like a full marble nail, but this is the ombre marble, so as you can see, like I added like the light orange back into the marble, just so that like if I add the light orange to a different nail, you still can see the light orange in the marble, like even if you didn't pay that nail attention. Or And sometimes I just do stuff. I don't know why I do it. I just do it just because it's on the top of my head or whatnot. But also, when you're fading these ombres like this, you want to start with your darker colors at the top, because darker colors are the ones that's hardest to fade with the nude or whatever your color that you're going to use to fade it. So I just start with the darker colors and I work my way to the lighter colors. And sometimes when I'm doing stuff like this with all these different colors and stuff, you want to use all your colors first. Like, lay your colors wherever you're going to lay your colors. If it's on the other hand, lay them. Because when you start going in with like your nude and stuff like that, it can have different pigment in it because of you using different colors with the same acrylic liquid. I mean, that's fine, but sometimes you can notice, like if I'm capping with clear and I use colors, you can kind of see the color still in the clear. But when it's solid colors, I leave it because it's clear and it's the same color, so it really kind of don't matter. Now that I'm going in with solid acrylic, okay, so pay attention to the liquid to powder ratio, because this is a big factor. I get so many questions on how do I make my acrylic not running? Why is my acrylic so chalky? How do I make it move down the nail? This, and that. Okay, so you see I laid that and I'm using liquid to go down the nail. You don't want to make it so runny where it's running all over, but you do want to make it solid enough that you can move it without taking all the acrylic off. So I see a lot of people put acrylic on and wipe it right off. Like, why did you just put that on there? Point being, because they don't know how to control their liquid to powder ratio. I actually have a video that, talks about powder to liquid ratio, and I think everybody should watch that, because that is like the butter and bread. Like, you should know how to do that if you don't know how to do anything else. But it's just all about the way that you use it, the way that, I add acetone to my liquid because it make it move faster. Like, I can't sit there and play with a nail for 4 or 5 minutes. I cannot. Like, put it on there and I go about my day. But that's it. And the smaller your beads, the better like your application will be. Like, the smoother it'll be, the more it'll flow. It won't be lumpy, and then you can add whatever amount of balls that you want to add to it without it being so thick. And I encap all my colors because I just don't like that they foul away if you don't. And what was the point of you putting it on there if you're going to just foul it off? So I make sure that I encap all of those, and you will see it when I get to it. I'm going to ombre my marble and my other ombre, or my triple ombre. So when you're ombreing, I just add like a really not runny but runny bead to like right where the colors meet, because you want to fade that part, and I feel like every ombre should have a fade. I hate ombre that's just like half and half. That's not an ombre. That's a half and half. So you just want to make sure, like, even when I do my cuticle bead, after I'm done with my cuticle bead, I go back in with another bead and I just let it run and I make it bigger so that it can cover more that I didn't get to cover the first time. As you will see, like, I let it go down further past where I had it the first time, the first bead. Just to give it a better fade, I just feel like you shouldn't be able to tell with an ombre. that I went in with my nude, I'm going to go in with my clear, and I'm going to end cap everything that needs to be end capped for this hand. And I do that because, like, when you get ready to file these nails, you don't want to file away the orange and the pink. You don't want to file away the colors, because that's what happens. So you want to just put your clear. You'd rather file through the clear and still see your colors. And also make sure that when you are using your color acrylics, you don't need to build it up a lot. Like, you don't need a thick ass nail with color on it, because you're going to end cap it, and that's what you choose to do. But I hope that if you do use a lot of color acrylic, you don't end cap that nail, because nobody wants to walk around with thick nails. to the middle of application, but I do want to explain what I'm about to do to this nail. So I'm about to cut crease this nail. Cut crease can be a V. It can be a French, like make it look French-like. It could be anything, just as long as you know that you cut that acrylic while it was wet with something sharp. That's cut crease. Okay, so I'm going to put nude on the whole nail and different. Like I never start from the cuticle unless I'm doing like a different, like a reverse ombre with a color or the glitter is on top of the color. It's the only time I do like my acrylic from the cuticle first. So I'm doing it like this because I still want it to be wet when I cut it, and wet enough that I don't have to do a lot of fouling or any fouling at all. And you want to make sure that it's thick enough so when you put your orange or your color, well, I'm going to use orange, but whatever color that you add to it, you know, like you don't have to make it so much, or it's enough that if you don't want to end cap that nail, you don't have to. So I'm just basically like building up enough of a foundation, like making sure that it have an apex, or, you know, just enough stability that when I get done with the nails, it's not going to break. Then I'm going to take my acrylic cutter and I'm going to basically just cut off the angle that I want to add the accent color to. And the color that I'm going to use is, I don't even remember where I got it from. I think my vendor sent it to me. Whatever, they just sent me a lot of stuff, but I honestly do want to say, I'm pretty sure you can probably find it on Amazon or find it somewhere, but you just want to make sure that you got a pretty clean cut. You know, like even if you don't cut it, you know, straight the first time, you could probably go back in and cut it again without taking off too much color, or you could just make sure that you foul it straight. But the thing is, I didn't want to foul it because I hate fouling over acrylic and then you go back and you're going to end cap it. Now you got nail dust in your fucking top coat. Like, I just, no, I'm okay. But yeah, just take your acrylic color and you're going to cut it, and then you're going to just take your color that you're going to go in with, and you want to make it a little thick. You don't want it really, really runny, and you don't want it really solid because you want it to fit, whatever, stuff like that. And it's going to overlap the nude a little bit, and that's when you're going to, like, you can either fix it with liquid, and it might not look like that because this didn't look bad at all. It actually looked like I had fouled it and added it in, but I didn't. But normally I would foul it. I didn't have to for that because just how precise the cut was, but I just really wanted to explain that nail because a lot of people be asking me, how do I do that, or can I do tutorial videos on that? that we're done with that part, just take your 80 grit file and you go back in. Okay, so when I was filing with just the nail tips, I was filing aggressive, but not so aggressive. And you have to learn how to put pressure on your file and not on your client. I know it may sound crazy because like how do you do one without the other, but you got to train your mind. Just train your mind to do it. You will be able to do it. But now that it has acrylic on it and acrylic is, set and hard, I just file hard because I know that the nail isn't going to come off or pop off or even, bend and make your nail bed hurt or weak or, damage it or whatever the case may be. But you can file as hard as you need to. Just be careful because these 80 grit files do be really sharp, like really, really sharp. You might have to even, what they call, season them. I don't season my files, which season is basically just making it a little dull before even using it. But that defeats the purpose of having a sharp file. So just file your nails or reshape your nails as best you can and go from there. Yes, this is my E-file that I'm using. This is an old carbide bit that I'm using. Well, it's not old, it's just used. It's not new, just so that I won't cut. And when I'm doing certain sets, like I have a newer one and I have one that's like more like dual out. Just depending on what kind of set I'm doing and how much control that I think that I need to have. Because when I'm doing longer nails, I just like to file and just like get it over with. Not just get it over with like as I'm rushing, but just get it over with. Like I'm almost done now at this point. My favorite part is I could say my second favorite part next to laying acrylic is placing rhinestone placement, even though I'm working on it. But yeah, you just want to make sure that you file, get an even file, even shape. You don't want to over file because you don't want to foul your color, but you do want to make sure that you file enough to make your nail sharp. And just clean your nail up how you decide to clean it. I clean under, make sure that it's even under because I hate uneven sides. Like just throw the whole everything off. That's only if you know how to critique a nail too as well. But you do just want to file it, just get it over with. And I'm using this on the highest setting, I think, probably so. But the highest setting is a 35, so my E-files are 35 RPM, so they move pretty fast. Or whatever, and it's no noise. These are also on my site if you do want to look at them. And I also have the carbides that I'm actually using to drill with the bit. Those are on my site as well. know y'all probably looking like, oh my God, this girl used this damn file one more time. But listen, this is how I get my shape. This is why I be so sharp, and this is how your nails last. Like, I go back in and file again because you got to think about it. You just use the E-file. The E-file is faster than my hand. It's probably some places that it nicked that I, didn't pay attention to, or on the bottom, or probably curved something out of shape or anything. Even though it's the slightest thing, I'm just a perfectionist when it comes to stuff like this. And you can see how my nails still got a curve in them. They got a little bit of an apex, all of that. Like, that's what you want to have your nails to look. And I do this because this is like how I do my C curve, or whatever y'all claim that to be, or call it, or whatever. I just call it filing the tip of the nail. You want to make sure that all your sides are cool, everything. Just, this is like my finishing touch of everything, like right before I buff. Now we are to crystal placement. Okay, couple things first. I only use Swarovski, 100% Swarovski crystals. Um, and I also place all my bigger stones first, like my designer stones, or whatever you want to call them, shape stones first. And then I add my smaller ones to the outside to give it like the detail of it. But other than that, make sure that you use like a good glue. I can't tell you what glue to use because that's trial and error, to each his own. Everything don't work for everybody. All stones are different. I order my stones from Blue Street Crystal. My code is NailFanatic5 if you decide to go shop on there. But yeah, like, and just make sure that everything is like in line, because I see a lot of people, like, I've done it before myself, put my rhinestones on, like, kind of shift it to the right side of the nail or shift it to like the left side of the nail. But when you get done, you be like, damn, it's kind of crooked a little bit. So but this is really to each his own, because this is kind of still like a hard part for me, something that I want to get better at. And it's like, just the only way to get better is to keep doing it, keep practicing, just try different stuff. I wouldn't say practice your stones on practice fingers or nothing like that, because these stones are expensive. So you want to get some fake ones maybe off Amazon and try something or whatever. But I don't really try stuff on like practice fingers and stuff like that with stones. I just do it on people. Just go from there. So bristles are placed, I'm just taking my IBD top coat and I'm just basically just filling in. You do not put the gel top coat on top of the crystals. No, 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 no. I don't care if somebody told you that, oh, they're going to stay better like that. They're going to stay better like that. No, they're not. They might stay, but you're not going to have a shine. Your stones won't shine no more. Like, you're taking away from them. You put it around them. You don't put it on them. And my top coat that I use, for those who don't know what it is IBD top coat. You can find it anywhere, Amazon, Sally's, Cosmo Pro, anywhere. But I like it because it's got like the gel, like it's like a little thick, stuff like that. And before I put it in the light, you have to, go down on your sides and stuff and make sure that it's not overlapping because it's so thick it run. And if you put it in and it's like not clean on the sides, it's going to cure the same way. And the only way to fix that is if you remove it. You have to file it off and do it again, which you don't want, especially not, in this your first go round of the nails, because you're going to have nail dust probably in your top coat again, like I said, with the end cap or the clear. But this is really the finish of the nail.